Michigan State?
Oh, for Messiah, I mean, his expectations are really unlimited because of going back to his work ethic, the way that he presents himself as not only a player, but a student athlete. Just well respected by everybody. He comes across. He's a people person. He's never really met a stranger, and but just the way he does everything and on and off the field. And mostly, though, his work ethic will make his expectations, limitless.
What's it like for a Ohio kid to be committed to Michigan State and go through these hallways and go through practice and look at that board with Ohio State stuff on the back? It happens. But to go to Michigan and be in this kind of area that's an Ohio State area.
Well, much like Tyree Kinnell last year, ends up at Michigan, and that's kind of a bad word in the state of Ohio probably, but I applaud him. I applaud him because they found their fit. They found where they fit best. So that they really researched the process, and even though growing up, maybe in their hearts somewhere that they wanted to be a Ohio State Buckeye, when it gets down to reality and it gets real close, they really stepped back and matured about the whole thing, used a lot of maturity in it, and they were able to make the decision what was best for them and their family.
With Connor Cook there from Ohio, and now he's next, what do you think about Michigan State's efforts to build an Ohio-type roster and have a lot of guys that mean a lot to them come from here?
Great question. I got hopefully a great answer. Sit down with Mark D'Antonio for 45 minutes, and you'll see why. I mean, a guy is just super dynamic. I mean, he's just got a presence of just success. That he's going to take your player, and he's going to build a great man out of him. That they're in the best hands, like a lot of these coaches do. But Mark D'Antonio, if you just sit down with him. He came in here last year in the wintertime, sit down in here, and I've known him for a long time. But just to talk to Coach D'Antonio, his presence is just one of those guys who is going to be. He's going to have the best interest in mind with your player, and he appreciates that that your player your player's coming to him. He doesn't take that for granted, and what at the backside of it. What that young man's going to come out of Michigan State being, So, that's all. The only thing you have to do is if you ever get that opportunity, just sit down with him about 30, 45 minutes, man, and you'll see.
Is Michigan State? I mean, obviously, Mark was on Ohio State's defensive staff under Tressel.
Right.
Is Michigan State just from a relationships, the roster, the way they run their offense, kind of like Ohio State North from the Tressel days almost? Do you think that he's modeled that program after what Ohio State was in between 2002 and 2011?
I think like any great coach, especially at that level, has done. I think he's taken probably a lot from Coach Tress. But I think he's taken some from, I think he's worked with Nick Saban. He's worked with a bunch of guys. I mean, but a lot of those successful coaches will tell you they've taken a little bit from everybody and formed their own. I think Mark D'Antonio has formed his own, and his own dynamic of being the head coach at Michigan State, and man, it is superb. So you just can't talk enough about the man. It's himself that could do him justice, really.